Surprise! Welcome to chapter 18 and 19 of my Fire Emblem 6 low turn count playthrough. Two very simple maps that are going to be trivialized in one turn by the Warp Staff. On the first one, we'll have our weapon refill shopping trip, as we will finally be able to buy killer weapons in a very accessible manner, as the shops are at the very start instead of out of the way or near the boss. The other very interesting thing with this map is that the boss is within reach of a promoted unit who got the boots, with the help of Lalum, so we can reach them with Shanna. There's two problems with that, however. The first one is that we can only hit him with a javelin. The boss has too high luck to give us a good chance, even with maxed out skill on China. So if you want to kill it, we have to chip him somehow. The other one is that dancing a unit that moved 10 tiles away from you requires to move 10 tiles, which Lalum is unable to do naturally. So brace yourself. So we'll warp Agreen to the boss carrying Roy to handle the damage problem. Since she has a killer bow, and thus 22% crit rate, that's pretty trivial. But now, if we want to save a Warp Staff, well, she has to go. Bye bye Agreen. I will let you take the time to grave in advance, because we will do our shopping trick first. We will buy 1 Killing Edge, 2 Kilo Lenses, a Thunder Tome, and 3 more door keys. And thanks to the silver card from chapter 14, all of that was at half price. Woohoo! Now, to fix our second issue, we don't actually have that many options, since we need to use a promoted unit. It is time for our second Jagan to go. Zilla is going to take a double 1% crit while carrying Lalum, allowing her to move again, and then Shanna, which required to burn 5,115 random numbers. And now, Shanna can reach the boss and kill it. Easy as that. We did have to make sure Shanna survives though, which is scary considering the boss is a brave bow and can actually one-round her. We can now seize and finish the map on the first turn, moving on to chapter 19. Chapter 19 is way less trivial to clear fast, since the throne is pretty far away, and there is a wall between us and our objectives. But thankfully, the Warp Staff exists. The problem, however, is that we need to warp 2 units in the same turn, and Soul is still the only unit we can use for that. You could think that using Lalum to dance Soul would be enough, but then Roy wouldn't have enough movement to reach the throne. But that's enough foreshadowing. Before we start our warping shenanigans, we need to rescue our unit forward. Marcus will take care of Roy, while Percival will bring Sue forward. Lalum will then get to dance Marcus so he can move again after being warped, and then Shanna will rescue Lalum and go 3 tiles away from the closest enemy nomad. So the first person we'll warp is Marcus transporting Roy. Cecilia will then take Lalum and die to a 6% crit to allow Lalum to move again. This means we don't have anyone else to use a Harmon anymore for now. Soul will then warp Astor transporting CO2. And now it's time for the final sacrifices of this video. We won't need a thief anymore, so press F to pay respect for Astor. And the second one, well, you can see it. It's good old Marcus. Dying for him to take a break. And just like that, our original party from chapter 1 is completely dead, and only Roy remains. Thanks to all the sacrifices, Sue is then going to get an easy 28% crit to kill the boss, and Roy can seize, finishing the map in one turn. See you next time for more heartbreaking stories with chapter 20 and 20X, and the finale of the bloody tragedy of the Sake campaign.